Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Jigar Doshi, founding partner at TMSL, joining in. Welcome to the show, Jigar, and a pleasure to have you. And waiting to get insights from you on the taxation bit for the upcoming budget.
My pleasure.
Jigar, let's start with this entire year right now. Usually, everyone waits for a people centric budget, and taking COVID into consideration, the expectations have been raised, the bar has been raised higher. But whether the government will be meeting that or not is something that everyone's waiting for. What do you think
Yeah.
on?
Uh, I think uh, from my side and my view, the expectation has been increased and the bar has been raised very heavily, not only from the positive or the benefits that industry is expecting, but also supporting the government. Uh, Wherever I'm talking, Hiral, you would be shocked. The MNC's clients that we are talking, they are very clear that if the government shouts out that they need support at this time, we will be happy to lend our hand. So it's not that the expectation bar is only seeking benefits. It's also working together as India as a nation. Is what I personally believe. It may be a few people on this side or the other side, but I'll give an example of what I'm saying. So we were talking about COVID cess and the constitution validity of the cess and whether the MNCs would be happy to pay. The only thing that is expected by the clients are a clarity.
Hmm,
You give a clarity that this is the cess, this is the law, this is the credit availability or not availability as well, and this is the time frame when the government is wanting cess. And trust me, the industry is willing to pay the cess is what I feel, because I may be having limited knowledge or limited
hmm,
clients with me, but look, the industry is willing to support the government and lend a hand of handling, giving a COVID cess on the matters, and that's not going to be a negative perception by them.
hmm.
So that is one aspect of it. But yes, COVID has really changed the mindset. I think the initiatives that government were thinking earlier and the initiatives that they have to think now is very different.
Correct.
So, I think very recently our Honorable Finance Minister said it's a never before budget. So, I mean, honestly, it's like a pendulum. Never before means what is the expectation, and is there something huge coming out, from the government side? But let's put in this fashion, Hiral, in a very simple line. The direct tax front, the income tax front, the rationalization is expected. The
Hmm,
benefits of increasing the slab rate is expected. So, where does the government recover that money from? It
hmm,
has to come from somewhere, and it has to come from indirect taxes, my view. So,
hmm.
some hits below the belt is expected already from indirect tax side. While the hit should be temporarily, and the other positive points are also expected, which I would be taking up on your next questions.
Absolutely. And when you mentioned on the personal tax front, I think the middle and the upper middle class is something who's always waiting for income tax slabs to go higher. And if
Yeah.
that's done, I think in these unprecedented times, it would come as a big relief. Now,
Correct.
with this, Jigar, so if you have to look at overall budget, which will be announced on the 1st of February, how is COVID going to impact the budget? Do you see more of positives on that front? Will it be mainly tax rationalization, or do you think a lot of ESOPs also will be announced?
Uh, I believe, other than COVID cess and few other aspects, let's say another point which is being discussed at very heavy length is introducing the petroleum products back into GST, and within that also whether it should be only natural gas or all products together is being heavily discussed. My take is that's again one sector which is eagerly waiting to get introduced into GST. So, it appears that government is going to get revenue out of this action, but eagerly waiting, the industry is also waiting to come into it and have that one feeling of one nation, one tax concept. Uh, so that's, I mean, what is positive and what is negative, I leave it to the industry to decide. But the changes which are expected in the budget, are two, three fronts. One, we have to all remember the budget is not a precursor for any GST changes. GST Council is the body who is supposed to do any changes required. So if industry is expecting that there are huge problems of input tax reconciliations and 36(4) rule is not making sense, please remove the rule or something like that, the budget will not be talking on those points. GST Council is the right body and they need to be represented. They are supposed to say yes or no on either aspect. So the expectation from the industry should be what is permissible and what is doable within the budget and what is not doable.
So,
Yes.
so
Sorry.
I'll interrupt you over here. Are we saying that GST amendments cannot happen through the budget? That's number one. And if anything needs to be announced with regards to GST, can they table it at the Parliament session on the 1st of February, which can then be taken up by the GST Council?
Yes. So that's exactly what should happen and will happen, in my view. They have the powers to guide. They have the power to make policies,
Hmm.
but they don't have the power to amend it because GST Council is mandated. In fact, a meeting, virtual or in live meeting, is required by the council meetings before any amendments are done under the GST law. Uh, uh, what I expect is, Hiral, is that the ease of doing business has to be focused. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
Make in India initiative has to be focused. Technology revolution has to be focused. So these are the three, four initiatives which government has to focus. Throw it up in the parliament. Say that we have to focus on these points. Probably they will also talk about fake invoicing. That's the matter of GST, which is being talked about very heavily. And what the center wants the nation to drive to handle the fake invoicing can be discussed at length. But if you ask me that can they amend any law right now immediately by putting up in the budget, that will not happen. They will recommend, the councils will have to put up, and then the amendments will happen. So that's where recommendatory power is there, and they should be talking about it very loudly and clearly on the key points uh,
Hmm.
within the GST vertical. Obviously, customs, they have the powers, and the budget will rather, there is huge expectation on the custom side that I will be speaking about. But on the GST front, I believe the few initiatives that I talked about and few important points like fake invoicing or even ease of doing compliances is something that they should be highlighting it to the industry, that we they were a little more rigid than what they should be, or other probably much more rigid than what they should be on compliances, specifically on GST audit, etc. That they should be advocating it, that how why they were so heavy on the industry and what is the future coming up. In fact, e-invoicing also they should be talking about. E-invoicing is already Hiral on for 100 crore and club above is applicable right now, and they are expecting to make it happen for all the B2B supplies by 1st of April. Whether they stick to the thought process or they are delaying it, some ray of clarity is expected.
Right. Jigar, you mentioned about ease of doing business and one nation, one tax. Now, on these 2 points, what's happening is we still have multiple GST rates, and that's leading to complexities in compliance and tax structure. And with that, it's really not optically making India tax friendly and competitive globally. So, do you think there is a possibility where uh, items, commodities, which are under the lower bracket could be slightly taken higher, and probably, products or items, services which are in the 28% bracket could be rationalized lower? Because again, on sin goods, etc., there is an additional 12% cess that is taken into consideration as well. So, do you see that kind of rationalization as a recommendation?
I really doubt, and I would say what can be done and what will be done is different. or rather what should be done. So what you are saying is what should be done, Hiral, and rate rationalization has been the topic of discussion since the very first day of GST, coming up. In fact, a classic model of GST should never have four rates. That's what is, it's very researched document available, which says that, idealistically, exempted goods should move to a lower bracket of 5%. The sin goods should come back, say, at 18%. Cess should be gone out. A 12% should be a classic standard rate applicable, and that's the way the nation should work around. But I'm sure we are all reading about how government is pressurized on the recoveries or the GST amounts that they are receiving. The 1 lakh crore rupees of monthly recoveries has always been a big challenge, and COVID times they have faced enough issues on this matter. And that's why we see huge investigations happening from fake invoicing perspective, because recoveries are being completely focused. Even the assessments that we are doing, Hiral, almost all clients have received GST assessment and scrutiny notices for 17-18 as a year. And in COVID times, working from home, they are expected to, submit all the documents and be in office to entertain the audit officers. So there is a heavy pressure on revenue. I am not expecting that rate rationalization will happen immediately this budget, or recommendation will happen. There could be some cues that can come up that they are thinking on this perspective. But if we expect that to happen immediately, it may or may not. It may not happen. And the crux, the reason it will be that the calculations are not ready. What is the loss that the revenue would face if they do XYZ changes? That's the biggest hurdle that they are facing today, and anyone would face, being India as a country. So once that is readily available, probably that step would be taken. So I am seeing a short time, probably a 6 months to a year more, to see that a dream of rationalized rates of GST coming up in India.
Right. So with this, Jigar, if you have to look at sectors which actually need a lot of notice on the rationalization front, which sectors would they be? Because right now, a lot of recommendations coming in from the pharma space, a lot of recommendations coming in from hospitality and tourism. In fact, it was really interesting to hear about how Malaysia provided exemption for hotel accommodation. I think even United Kingdom came out with something called as Eat Out to help out, to help drive consumption. So, which are sectors, according to you, which should be on the radar of the government right now?
So, I would say, Hiral, hospitality, obviously, because that's the worst hit. And when I say hospitality, it includes not only hotels, restaurants, but it also includes the tourism sector.
Correct.
And second, I would believe that the weaknesses can be focused and improvised, but the strengths also should be focused to make it more strengthening. So pharma is, my belief is that pharma is a sector in India which is the best sector across the world. After US, India is being focused very heavily. So if we capitalize that sector more, whilst the sector is doing good in my view, okay, again, my views are very different from specific, the stereotype thinking pattern that COVID would have impacted. My view, pharma has not been impacted by COVID. They are doing fabulously well. And when I say pharma, it includes healthcare sector.
Absolutely.
So, it is doing good. In fact, it is doing much better than earlier. The numbers are throwing now. And if we focus on that sector more and more, I think India can become the center of hub for the pharma giants, which is already there for many companies, but it can increase manifold. Uh, to infuse something, it should be on technology and e-commerce sector. So that is where I believe, again, we should not have only stress and COVID in our subconscious mind. We should also look at the future. Are we really looking at this as an opportunity to invite multiple MNCs into India? The Make in India initiative that got launched 3 years back, rather, can we really now focus on it in a bigger way? Can we invite more and more pharma companies into India, not only to distribute the products here as a consumption, but also to manufacture and do the research and development activity? Can we look at the center of excellence being prepared here on the service sector also. Uh, I believe Indian economy has an opportunity now to overpower all other Asian countries now, including China. But if that focus is on Make in India, then again, I believe COVID would be the classic example in the history of books to say that that was the biggest opportunity India got to turn the tables from developing country to developed country.
Right. So very rightly pointed that yes, even when you take China into consideration, yeah, we may not be able to replace China on a totality basis, but at least start gaining market share on the manufacturing front. But with this, Jigar, another challenge on the GST front has been sectors which are facing challenges on account of non-eligibility of refund of GST in cases of inverted duty structure.
Yes.
What,
Yes.
according to you, needs to be done on that front?
A classic solution is clarifying it to the government. As in, when I say government, is the budget should help clarifying, and CIBIC should issue a clarification on this, on resolving all the matters on inverted duty structure. There are empty number of litigation happening on this front, and trust me, it is uh, not worthy litigation. If we apply little logics, I believe in the law of land, but I also believe in logics to be applied along with the law of land. If a person is into inverted duty structure, it has to be refunded. That's the concept which government has rolled out. We can't play around the words in the law and try to mitigate that refunds and extend those refunds for any reason. There should be a mandate issued by the government to to issue the refunds. In fact, if we go back to the model law and the law of GST, provisional refunds are available. And they can do the finalization in a period of 3 to 6 months. Again, provisional refunds are not being made available to the industry today. So if the cash is in hand and the working capital is handled well, industry will not have any problem in submission of n number of documents and be in front of the officers to prove it to them that we were rightly submitting the claim. So there has to be a clear-cut solutions given. So one hand, industry should give the cesses wherever it is. Industry should support changes. Expectation bar should be reduced from rate rationalization. But at the same time, where the due amounts are there, refunds and compliances, GST audits, e-invoicing, should be completely straightforward jacket, rationalized.
Right. And moving away from GST, if you have to look at customs as well, as you mentioned, as we all know, major portion of global trade is carried out by related parties. What needs to be done and what special care needs to be taken for such transactions? And what are the changes that you would recommend?
Sure. So, Hiral, I believe Make in India initiative that I was talking about, the major component of that initiative is driven by customs. So today, GST is an element of indirect taxes and recovered from ultimate consumers. But the customs is a law which will really help Make in India initiative boom. Let's give some examples in this. Let's say inverted duty structure that you mentioned. The entire matter of inverted duty structure can be handled well if the import custom duty is reduced of the raw material. Entire Atmanirbhar Bharat or Make in India initiative can increase if the finished goods custom duty is increased. So, there is a domestic manufacturing subsidy available or a benefit available to the domestic manufacturers. Again, a huge benefit can come in if customs play a bigger role in it. You would have probably read about the road tip scheme, which is replacing the MEIS scheme, which is a remission of duties and taxes. So it's again a complete clear, a foreign trade policy related scheme, which is, you wouldn't believe, it is effective from 1st of January 2021, but there is no rates being notified yet. And some push on those aspects should be clearly coming out, that what is the rate, what is the refund and remission that people should be expecting, and also they are inviting representations from various sectors to give the rate clarity, but at least a standardization or a blanket rate should be given, and then the representation can always help to amend it as and when the government is convinced. So all those aspects of helping the importers, helping the Make in India initiative, and more so of helping in getting the money back on in a way of remission is something which we have to see. So import benefit by reducing the rates, inverted duty structure focused, export benefits by focusing on foreign trade policy, which is coming up again in April. So once the policy is announced, the customs will have to follow the policy measures which are going to come up. So talking to Ministry of Commerce and tying up well between the Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Finance, um, and focusing on ease of doing business also is important. I'm sure you would have read about Karuta rules, which is the rules of origin. Again, a disaster as far as rules are concerned. Already representations have been filed multiple times, and if I'm not wrong, in December, to be precise, 17 December, they have issued a circular also that they are aware about the problems, and this circular also listed down few problems very uniquely. So they're aware about the problem. So these kind of rules, they have to ensure that the genuine importers are not getting hampered.
Right. Moving away
Yeah,
from there
that's broadly which I would feel
for on the customs
customs.
side. Right. So, Jigar, moving away from customs, another aspect that everyone looks at right now is dividend income, the tax on that front. Currently, no deduction is taxable income is, no deduction in taxable income is allowed against dividend income, I think, apart from interest. Do you think something needs to be done on that front?
Oops, I wouldn't be a good background, I mean, a good
Okay.
technical guy to help you on the direct tax, but I personally believe that deduction or standard deduction of 30% or something like that should be rolled out to ensure that, and it should be a specific time. It cannot happen for perpetual time, but for one period, 1 year or 2 years, financial year assessment years, they should be doing that as a standard deduction.
Right. And what are the other initiatives, according to you, that the government should be focusing on during the current budget?
Uh, Technology being the most important one, I believe. Make in India and ease of doing business, obviously we spoke about, but if I read well, Hiral, from directly PMO's office, technology is being focused everywhere, from the Man Ki Baat discussion to wherever election rallies are happening. Technology is the word which our PMO is very focused on. My belief is that it will trickle down everywhere, that they are going to see how technology can be embedded across functions, including tax. So some clarity coming on from budgeting perspective, that how much budget they're allocating to the technology function. How are we inviting few large giant players into India who are already there as a subconsciously, or they are already working well? How are we giving them benefit to ensure that we actually help them to infuse technology into multiple companies into India is something that I'm expecting. So technology revolution is something that I believe they will be talking about for sure.
Right. And then one question that a lot of companies are wanting to know is with regards to where, especially alcohol companies, is whether that could come under the purview of GST. Do you think it's a vague possibility?
Again, I believe it would be possible from center side, from state side, Hiral. There's a huge revenue sitting there. I see state and revenue not talking to each other in a good tandem mode. It's like just to keep it a little more on the humor side, it's like a skydiving. When you skydive, you have a tandem diving, and you need a diver with you. You can't be diving on your own on the first dive. And center and state are like a tandem divers. If they don't talk to each other, it is going to crash. State revenues at this aspect, I don't think so. They will give a green signal to center to have alcohol bringing into the GST world. It should be done for sure because that is where it should land. But whether this is the right time from state side, I really doubt, because they are not really in tandem is what I can feel. In fact, I can give an example of this. A very recent, I don't think so, more than 5 days have been lapsed. Maharashtra VAT or the Maharashtra state government has issued a circular saying that whatever circular has been issued by center, okay, we may or may not follow. I'm just putting in a layman language. So there was an earlier circular which said that a center circular is to be read mutandis by the state also. That circular got withdrew. And they are saying that we will read the circular, we will believe what is right and what is wrong, and issue our own circular. So imagine a circular coming out tomorrow by center saying that XYZ is something to be done. The Maharashtra state government may or may not agree. If they don't agree, they will issue their own circular, and they will say something which is applicable to the state of Maharashtra. And
Correct.
then we are heading it as one nation, one tax, which I believe it is not the essence. So it has to move gradually. The center will have to get the buy-in of the states and then push alcohol into the center zone.
Right. And then with this, another sector is with regards to where the MSMEs are concerned. Now, they have they have been called the growth drivers right now. A lot people have been talking about that could be done for the MSMEs. Again, on the rationalization front, do you think, I mean, according to you, what needs to be done for the MSMEs? Because I mean, they are seeking lower GST, especially on the professional services right now.
Correct. So again, I think again India as a country, Hiral, is driven by MSMEs in a very big way. When we say SMEs or MSMEs, they pertain to a big pie, and they ride the horse in a very big way. I believe not that MNCs are not important, but obviously it is very a crucial aspect. Sectors which has to be focused by the government should be those which have been really impacted by COVID. Like let's take an example of textile.
Mm.
Textile sector has been really impacted very badly. If they are putting some impetus there, subsidies there, grants there, to ensure that the manufacturing is done appropriately, some export benefit to them, then I think I believe that MSME sector also will be picked up. So a sector-wise study will have to be done. Probably it is already done, obviously, and I believe textile, furniture, because furniture again is being very heavily focused by the government in last three budgets. You would have read the rates changing on the furniture, footwear, all these sectors which are not being on the spotlight. But if we really focus, these all sectors are driven completely by MSMEs. There is where I believe that sector-wise some benefits should be announced and budget should be allocated to it.
Right. And your view on the automobile side, taking the electric vehicles into consideration, as a nation, we don't really have the infrastructure which is ready. Do you think to boost sales of electric vehicles, there could be something coming on that front as well?
Again, last year it did come, Hiral. I think now the time has come to see that how they can invite large companies to start working on this function. Once that the manufacturing is done or import is done, people are having the facilities. Then the benefits should also be coming on exemptions or zero rating or refunds, etc. It's like we can't sell the mangoes when we are sowing the seed of the
Right.
mango tree. It's very nascent stage in my view. Yes, they should be focusing on it, but right now the main auto sector is also in a bigger mess. So probably focusing there, giving them some benefits so that they have the power to fight. I will not say the fight, but at least compete with huge firms and companies which are into electric vehicles. That is where we should focus on. So giving them the power to compete with the multinationals is something that we need to focus on
Right.
this budget.
Right. And very lastly, Jigar, from our entire discussion, anything that we have missed that should be considered and noted during the budget?
Uh, I think 2 points. One is on custom side, probably a voluntary disclosure scheme can be thought through. What we are seeing is industry is not very happy litigating all the time. And if a voluntary disclosure scheme comes up, government can look at recovering good amount of revenues, in the wake of COVID. And industry is also happy to remove all the contingent liability and provisions from the books of accounts. So that is something which I would recommend uh, the government to think on custom side. In fact, on GST side also I would recommend, but it's too early. 3.5 years is not enough for a voluntary scheme to come up, but probably a thought process after a year or two will also come up this time. It will not wait for 20 years to come in a voluntary disclosure, I believe. And second is, I think, the broad perspective of government of supporting the industry overall in this time. A good feel factor is what I would want, rather than, everyone is. I mean, we need to remember that government also got COVID. We also got COVID. So, talking to each other and standing together is something that I would expect from this budget, and not hitting hard or not taking away the revenues, and making government as a business corporate is something that I wouldn't expect.
Absolutely. I think it needs to be a give and take relationship between the government and the people and the companies around for us to function in a smoother fashion from here on, taking COVID into consideration. And I think a hand in hand approach is something which is going to help us. Thank you, Jigar, so much for joining us on the show. Great insights, and hoping to speak to you once again once the budget is announced. I hope you
Sure.
enjoyed the conversation as well. Thank you and stay safe.
Completely, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.